Alright, am I audible?
Yes, you are very audible. Hold on. Yeah, so for anyone who doesn't know, we originally recorded this back in, like, April, and then it got delayed significantly both because I had school and also there was a certain mega collab going on. I'm terribly sorry about the fact that this is the third time we've had to record this interview.
Yeah, but it's fine, I'd say.
Since the last time that we've recorded the interview, there have been 8 more levels.
I don't know what's wrong with me.
The hyperfixation, the hyperfocus.
So true.
Would you like to give us another introduction?
Okay, hello, I am Luminescence. I make levels fast, like faster than the usual Arrhythmia level creator. I'm now hyperfixating on the Crystal Monarchy, and oh boy, y'all are not prepared for the takeover. Nah, I think I'd be busy playing Undertale Yellow, which is coming out today.
Undertale Yellow releases in 5 minutes.
Nah, in half an hour.
Oh! Well, shoot, okay, never mind. The interview's gonna get delayed another 6 months. So, your history of just making content in general, production or anything like that, not necessarily for PA, but just anything in general, how's that been?
How I make my videos? I don't know, record something that I wanted to record, and then I post it on YouTube. And maybe edit it a little with free editing software, but that's really the extent of my old content. It's really just things I wanted to record, maybe edit a little, and yeah, good for YouTube, I'd say.
Do you have a reason for, like, wanting to upload it in the first place? Like, is it, like, a dream job of yours, or was it just something you did out of boredom?
Yeah, I just really like the idea of sharing what I did with the internet, but I just wanted to share what I did, like seeing people who make content, so I thought it would be fun if people saw what I made with my own stuff, which was a bit lazy at the time.
I mean, to be fair, everyone starts off with the Minecraft Let's Play. Everyone needs to do at least one of those.
Actually, I started off with Geometry Dash, then it started with Minecraft.
Ah, yes, the Geometry Dash. Speaking of which, 2.2 happened this year. How was that?
I know where you live.
Anyways, that brings us to, and we're gonna talk about all of your levels in just a moment, don't worry. But let's talk about specifically your first level. How much do you remember about the process of making that?
Alright, so this is how I made my first ever level. I sat down, watched one tutorial or something, tried making a level, failed, and then deleted the game and refunded it. My first ever level was something else entirely and was solely for test purposes, but I regretted my decision to refund Project Arrhythmia, bought the game again, and made some more first levels, and then made my proper released first level, Reflections by Creat.
Alright.
It was a boss level like every level was at a certain moment in time, but I'm still fairly happy with it. I'd say it's pretty surprisingly solid for a first level, even though some choices in it are questionable to say the least.
Okay, so you made your first level, and then you hated it, deleted the game, and then got a refund for it, right?
Yeah.
So does that mean that you made your first level in less than 2 hours, because that's the refund policy for Steam, or was it
No,
like
no,
that?
it wasn't that I hated my first level, I just got frustrated with that I couldn't figure out how the editor worked.
Oh, okay. So then you did end up releasing Reflections by Creat. How did you feel about it?
Currently, it's very much flawed compared to my current stuff, but I'd say there are still some solid stuff in it.
That's fair, that's fair. I mean, whose first level isn't, obviously.
Crazy Trains.
That is the exception to the rule. That's just straight up the exception, no. Well, that was 1 out of 37.
Alright, I have all the time in the world except for when Undertale Yellow releases.
Okay, we have 1.5 hours. Cool, we can go through them one at a time. So next up, I believe, is Wait For Me.
It's a bit of an upgrade from Reflections, I'd say. My process for making it was basically Reflections, but better, hence the Reflections reference called Reflections 2.0 around the first drop. But one of my favorite parts is the one where Creator pulls out these arrow whips. Yeah, I just really like that arrow whip part. It looks really badass, and I pretty much used it for every creator level afterwards. I really like how you used it in P-1, by the way.
Oh, thank you, actually. Yeah, it was that, and then, like, the fact that the creator has, like, 4 hands, because that's sort of your character design. Being, like, a lot of your characters, I've noticed, go for, like, 4 hands instead of the typical, like, 2 floating ones.
I very much had a phase where all all of my characters had 4 hands in a circular fashion that orbit around the character.
Now your phase has evolved to 2 hands.
2 hands are lame. I am the chat 4-handser. Aura is nothing too special, I'd say. My favorite part is the one with the, you know that submarine? Boom, boom. Well, I really like that part, so I just kind of went ham sort of with it. Mostly seen in the surprising amount of detail in the prefabs and the background. A dust, whatever.
It do stay.
Well, I really like the utilization of the arrow whips for Nihil's previous design, but yeah, I feel like A-Dust is a bit of a missed opportunity in my opinion. I could have done so much with it, but I just didn't do much with it. At least turnaround is better.
I love how in your PA journey you can tell that there's an exact moment in your playlist where you just really hit your stride.
Yeah.
Before we start getting to that stuff, Milky Way's Redux.
Alright, first off, Arcana's design is absolutely horrendous in this level. I will not accept any criticism. Their current design is way infinitely better. Second of all, I really like how I handled Arcana shapeshifting. Arcana goes from many different shapes in this level, and I really like that. I like me a good shapeshifting boss. Although, my favorite part is when the walls close in and it's all goopy and stuff.
I misheard that as my least favorite part of the level.
Oh, okay.
I thought that's what you said, my bad.
Nah, my least favorite part is probably JSAT reference. Although that part's admittedly also really good. I don't know what my least favorite part is, honestly. It's all just a bit mid.
Sky Fracture, which even I still remember when this level initially gained like popularity back in the Elden days of PA.
2021, yeah. That's 2 years ago. I am old.
2013 will be so hype.
For real, no cap. This shit is bussin', yo. I hated saying that.
Okay, you hated saying that, but friendly reminder of what the original opening for this interview was just a bunch of references.
Yeah, I grew up a lot in just months' time, I'd say.
You're too old for Skibbity Toilet humor?
I will stand by the fact that Skibbity Toilet is pretty decent for weird-ass kiddie humor. I will not accept any criticism for that. Fight me.
Oh, okay, but we're talking about... Oh, hold on, let me pull up my notes on this one. Level 10 Ohio Rizzler.
Oh no, yeah, Skibbity Toilet memes are absolutely horrendous and I hate them with every fiber of my being.
Okay, cool. Among Us jokes are fine though, right?
Among Us jokes are fine.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, the game literally just got updated with the dumbest update in existence and no one acknowledged it. But going back to Sky Fracture, how do you feel about that one?
Sky Fracture is where I feel I really hit the good one. It's my first level with proper backgrounds, proper boss animation sorta, and it's pretty good looking attacks, I'd say, even though it's all just beams. And I also did really pretty good with the team, I'd say.
It's beams and also the fact that it's 1 minute level that it has to be done without checkpoints.
Oh yeah, and that.
Yeah, was there anything different you changed up for your, like, animation style in this? Or did you just sort of, like, continue on with what you were already doing and you just happened to notice the improvement on this one?
I happened to notice the improvement of this one. I did make another level before this, Sea Monster, by, I forgot who, Inova or something? But I did make another level before this, and that's where I really got to go with animation, because it's like the first time I ever actually interacted with the PA community.
Oh, okay. Is it not in the PA Journey playlist?
No, it's unfinished, and the only real appearance of Sea Monster's boss is in Water Elemental by Shark and Chime, which is like number 25, I see. Similar Outskirts remix. I'll be real, I kinda just ripped off Inscryption.
You kinda just went right for the Instes reference.
So true. I really liked Anomaly by Instes, so I just did it with my own stuff. I really liked the first half of the drop, but then it just kinda falls off in my opinion. I can't remember how I did with the spider legs, but I think they were kind of pain. I'm not sure.
Patience, probably. I mean, it's a lot of joints, so I mean, that's kind of just anything that involves that.
Yeah, anything with legs just requires a bunch of patience.
Next up, we got Turnaround by...
The bad guy.
Him.
We don't talk about him.
The one we can't talk about anymore.
Turnaround remake, I really like how you utilize the theme of Dark Spikes here. It's probably the first level where I actually began properly using a theme, even though it's a bit of a lame one in my opinion, but still. Dark Spikes everywhere is, and I did it wonderfully, I'd say. And then there's the second level where Nihil gets all menacing and stuff. Yeah, I needed a bit of criticism on how to make Nihil a little bit more menacing. And yeah, the criticism really helped out with Turn 1 remake. Then there's the last part where nothing much really goes on. It's really just Nihil summons some spikes and rams into the nearest wall. Really, that's about where the level ends, in my opinion, since at the column part at the end, it's really just a bunch of dialogue that is just not canon anymore.
All of the dialogue's non-canon. All of that entire minute of dialogue is completely non-canon. I love this.
Yeah, the Realm of Silence got completely rewritten. So instead of being like, oh no, I'm so sad, Neil just goes like, okay, I need to stop this madness. And it's like way of difference in comparison how Nihil acts.
It's just sort of like, I am so sorry for attacking you for the past 4 minutes. I am so sad. I am so sorry.
Yeah.
Cries.
In the rewrite of Realm of Titans, Nihil is actually possessed. And to get rid of that possession, Nihil needs to use his own willpower to exorcise himself. There will be an epic fight between him and the demon that possessed him. It's gonna be really cool and badass. I can tell you that, at least.
It's gonna be really cool and badass, and once he gets started on it, it's gonna be done in 2 weeks. Wait for me version 2.
This one is also a huge improvement since I learned how to properly animate bosses, since before this level, my boss animation parents were all messed up. You know how main is parented to X parented to Y? Well, I used X parented Y parented to main. That is, but at least I learned and made a bit of a banger for an early level, I'd say. I also say I'd say a lot. And of course, we can't forget about the epic arrow whips.
It wouldn't be a Luminescence level, it wouldn't be a creative level without the arrow whips.
Yeah, I also really liked how I modeled the creative tools. That's how they're canonically called. Creative beams, the creative blades, creative daggers, whatever. I really like how I did them.
Wait, hold up. It's canonical that all of the Creativer's attacks start with the word creative.
Yeah.
Okay, cool, because I named all of the Creativer-related attacks in Memories -1 after, like, that start with, like, creative.
Awesome. Creative tools are funky. Then there's also a Realm of Titan spoiler section for some reason, inspired by Song of Storms, and it's just a bit lame. It's just the character Death Incarnate attacking you in a sort of lame way. I didn't really know what to do with Death Incarnate at the moment, so you just see its ominous eyes in the background, and maybe in a few attacks as well, but that's really about it. Also, I somehow managed to shoehorn in Essence as a cool teaser for Wait For Me Temanite Remix, which got finished like a year later or so. I can't remember. Maybe in a few months.
Maybe in a few months, maybe in a year, maybe 2 days.
Maybe when the universe ends. Manta is my first ever boss rush, and I'm really happy with how it turned out, honestly. Their bosses are all based off of my RL family. Esther is my mom, RL is my dad, Onike is my sister, and Luminescence is of course me. I'll probably redesign the Manta characters at some point, but for now, I really like this. My favorite part is the one with Esther's orb at the bottom and the walls at the sides, and Onike's hands beaming at you. It's just really epic, and made it way better from balance the pixels, I'd say.
To be fair, the PA Journey playlist is really just a big indicator of your growth, since, you know, ever feeling bad about your growth, go into the PA playlist and scroll to, like, any of the first few of them. Yeah,
my PA Journey was made for exactly that reason, so people could see how much I've improved at the level a bit there.
Next up, we got, In the Moment.
In the Moment. It's for TNT's birthday level. Yeah, I don't really have much to say about it. It's probably the first time I've actually properly used many different attacks in a row, but that's about it. It's really for TNT's birthday, and she was really happy with it, but currently, I think it's a bit meh.
Starstorm.
Alright, that's a funny coincidence. Starstorm is my favorite level I've ever made. It's so good, even though the second drop is a bit whack. I'm still really happy with how Starstorm turned out. My favorite part is the first drop with all the massive beams and the really strong shake I made. Yeah, I just remember being really happy with how it turned out.
Yeah, I remember you hyping up this level a lot back when you were, like, still in the middle of producing it. It definitely shows that you put a lot of effort into this one, that you were really proud of it.
Yeah.
Anything else?
I don't know. That's about it. It's just my favorite level I've made. I can't really describe why. Autism sucks. Shaking my head. Why does my autism prevent me from articulating my words correctly?
Maelstrom.
Sharps. Yeah, I was pretty happy with this at the time. It's not much special, but I really like the way the whirlpool looks in the drop. And I also like the way the whirlwind water whirlwinds look in the very last part of the drop. I really like the way the square squish in this last part at 2 minutes in.
Wait for Me by Chime remix, the Temanite remix for Wait for Me.
This one really blew up, and honestly I can see why. It's really interesting. And you don't really see a character with like 6 limbs that much. Personally, I don't really have a lot to say about it other than it took way too long, and that's kind of visible at the transition from the second build up to the second drop, since I actually used effects in the second drop and everything before that was not much in the ways of effects. But yeah, pretty good level.
Yeah, all things considered, I think you did a really good job with this one. I also find it another potential reason it could have gotten big is because of the Temanite swag that is. I mean to be fair, I don't know how much staying power he has nowadays because it's been a while since I've actually like really gotten into the PA community. I mean, I know back then he was like a lot bigger in terms of his use. Dissolve by the another one we can't talk about. The other guy who
shall not be named. Ellipse is a bit of a yucky guy, I'd say.
They're all yucky people.
Indeed.
Alright, Dissolve. How's Dissolve for you?
Dissolve is my second boss rush, and I'd say it's a pretty good way to tell how much I've grown at the time. The first drop starts out as nothing too special, but when the second half kicks in, when I actually start putting effort into the camera effects, that's where it really shines. The Luminescence fight is really decent as well, I'd say. Pretty good. And the very end, we do not speak about the very end. Understood?
The very end is in like the last attack or the bit where you just start putting dialogue up on it.
Dialogue.
Of course, the dialogue with no gameplay.
No, I just think that text at the end is extremely cheesy and it doesn't reflect myself at the moment anymore, I'd say.
The turnaround remake by another person we can't talk about.
Huh. It's been around 6 months since I made Turnaround and then remade it. Funny how that works. Funny how the improvement works.
Funny how having a decent amount of speed works.
It's funny how having a lot of free time works. But yeah, I'm really happy with it. It's basically Turnaround, but it was very good. I really like the animation in the first drop. The end kind of suffers from the same problem of not having a whole lot to do, but at least it's better in that it has some gameplay and a bit more interesting in the way of presenting lore, even though it's still not canon anymore.
The lore moves too fast. The Luminescence lore moves faster than some webcomics.
So true. And there's the fight against New Moon. New Moon is a bit odd, but I think I can figure out how to fit New Moon in current Realm of Titans lore, even though it won't be applicable to the PA storyline. New Moon is basically like the second form of Neil. I just put in remake because, I don't know,
it looked
cool, I guess. Yeah, New Moon has been redesigned and is actually now a sort of werewolf Nihil, since Nihil is a werewolf now. Deal with it.
He's gone from Spikeball to werewolf.
Actually, Nihil has always been quite furry. This spike is actually supposed to be kind of fur-like. I don't really have much else to say about it, so can I move on to Tempest?
Yeah, go ahead. Well, I mean, isn't Tempest more like a trailer level than anything else?
Tempest is a trailer level, yes, but it's unique in that it actually has gameplay. I really like how he did the lyrics, but yeah, the lyrics are the best part about the level, admittedly.
You did a great job with the lyrics, to be honest. You can tell it was the main focus of it.
Yeah, the lyrics were really cool, I'd say. The shapes the orb takes on are representative of what Nihil and emBer are thinking. emBer is Nihil's sister, by the way. Yeah, Coruscant Titans again, that's your age well. It's now called Realm of Titans. Also, there's a bit of a definite corner jump scare here. That design is still lame as hell.
Worlds by Creo.
Birthday level for DHL44. DHL44's levels are really cool, by the way. Check her out, please. She's really cool. It's really just another world boss rush. Not much to say about it. Really like how I did.
This is the Another World Part 2 in 2023.
So true. Oh, also Dark Dungeon jump scare.
Oh yeah, shoot, I forgot. Is Dark Dungeon actually in the playlist or no? Because I know that you also have a bunch of collab levels and stuff like that.
No, it's actually not on the playlist, surprisingly. It's a bit hard to document since there are like 2 different versions. One on DXL's channel, one on my channel. The one on my channel is better.
Subscribe to me.
Yeah, subscribe to me, because I am objectively better than those oh my goodness, I'm reaching 40 levels.
For how many levels does your favorite Project Arrhythmia creator have? That's right, that's what I thought.
I sometimes forget how fast I was back in the day. 20 levels in a year, I think.
That is an entire storyline, my guy. I mean...
Yeah, so true. Crystal Monarchy is gonna be really cool, by the way, just check it out.
Yep. Oh, we're almost there. One last level. Level. We got Halo by Vanitas.
Alright, I have a bit of history with Halo. I remember really liking it, and I remember really hating it, and now I kinda like it again. Certainly something in my opinion. What many people help me notice is how just expressive the 4 is. The 4 is extremely expressive, to the point you can really see that he's pretty much a god gone mad. Hopefully that's what people got out of it. I really like animating the 4, honestly. He's such a cool guy. Although a little insane. I wouldn't want him near my house.
He's a really cool guy. I would not invite him to my house.
That's me with all my villain characters. They're so cool, guys. Don't invite them to your parties.
It's the... Oh my goodness, I love my character so much. He's such a little scrunkly. He's murdered 5 people and has committed several war crimes.
They have 5 different forms of PTSD.
5 forms of PTSD and are wanted in 2 countries.
If your character does not have trauma of some kind, you're making a bad story. Sorry, I don't make the rules.
What do you mean? How can your character not have a trauma? How else are you supposed to write a character? Alright, now we got to Crystal Monarchy, first level. We got Lucky Coin by Schtiffles.
The lore segment sucks. I'm gonna completely redo it in Gradient if I ever get around to making it. Gradient is a song by Vanitas. This level introduces Crystal Monarchy character, Nanobelle. I love her. She's so cool.
She is so sweet and kind, and she has 2 counts of PTSD.
I wouldn't say that. She's just has a bit of trouble since the Monarchs have been kinda neglecting her lately, for some reason. That's exclusive lore, by the way.
A bit of Crystal Monarchy lore drops only here on the Mountain Dash 1 channel. You should subscribe to me, actually, by the way. You guys shouldn't go to anyone else, okay? Just to me.
You joke, but your talkative stuff is generally really cool. Love it.
Oh,
very cool stuff.
Thank you.
Nanobelle is a bit of an interesting character. I'm not gonna go into detail to prevent spoilers, but she's interesting, that's all I'll say. And this level also introduces the golems. I love golems, they're so cool, the lore is so fleshed out. Can't get enough of golems.
How'd you come up with the idea for this? Or was it just something you kind of naturally...
Well, the idea for golems came from back in the time when Crystal Monarchy was still a polygon ripoff in most ways. When Crystal and Chaos got made, I made some ideas for golems with Dukans, the other creator of Crystal and Chaos. And oh my goodness, the lore is so good, it's gonna be fleshed out so well, the rocks that can be programmed, it's so cool, oh my goodness.
Any other thing that helped, like, inspire the story of Crystal Monarchy?
Actually, Project Elevatio was a really good help. It's genuinely surprising how much the story evolved simply from having Project Elevatio on.
Oh, it gave you a lot of inspiration from it?
Yeah, just simply a good bunch of inspiration.
And then unfortunately, before we can go into any other Crystal Monarchy level, we have Luminescent Archive. Luminescent Archive
is something I'm really happy with. It's just so good. I can't really put it into words all my previous levels, but combined into one really good mega collection.
Luminescence like memories, real.
That was pretty much the intent of Luminescent Archive. And you know what the funny thing is? My friend Dukans once pointed out that almost all the levels in Luminescent Archive were supposed to be part of a story of some kind. Aside from Maelstrom, of course. Anomaly and Wait For Me are part of the same collection that never really took off. Skyfracture had a sequel in plan, but that also never really took off. Aura and Starstorm were also planned to be part of collections, and Manta's just there as a final collab finisher. I really like Manta's part, by the way, it's so good. The second rub of the original was kind of lame, but with this, I just went ham. And I really like it when I go ham.
Just goes off, pops off for like a couple of minutes in animating.
You could say I went beast mode.
Also, the next level is limit break, so like...
You could say I broke my limits. A little bit of backstory, Limit Break was part of a collection called Limits Broken, but that kinda never took off. It's also gotten a bit controversial in some circles, Limits Broken, but I'm not gonna go into detail as to why. I really like how I made Triangulord here. even though some of the lore here is a bit outdated. Trianglord acts pretty much like in modern canon, like an egotistical, self-absorbed kind of guy. But one thing to note is that Trianglord isn't necessarily a bad guy, but you'll see why soon.
Anything else about Limit Break?
I did really like the smear frames in the last final section. I got the idea from one of Crazy Train's tests, and I'm really happy with how it turned out, the smear frames.
Beneath the Surface by Mulite.
Kind of a little early realized that a lot of Grain Zero is not really a good thing. Aside from that, Realm of Titans bosses. Yeah, these are all of the Titans in the Realm of Titans storyline. We got Inanis, Yggdrasil, and we got Kronos. There's also Balance, but who cares about Balance? And finally, the Elder, Sin, and Virtue. The Elder has a much better design than this, even though it also amounts to white circle with an eye.
Listen, it's not about what your white circle with an eye looks like, it's what it does, and I think you make it work pretty well.
Yeah, the Elder is like pretty much God in Realm of Titans, and I think I got that notion got that feeling across pretty well with how the Elder just kinda pulls two worlds together and then lets them go. Banners, lettuce via peel by convexity. Why did I say it like that?
You made it with the new editor, right? Or the alpha editor?
Yeah, I made part of it beforehand, but I really did it with the alpha editor, and I'm pretty happy with it. It's a really good normal level, I'd say. Really good basic normal level. It's a shame it never really got off, though.
Next up we got Water Elemental by Sharks and Chime.
This is also an alpha level, and it's such an improvement from Lattice VIP, it's unreal. It's really just a first attempt at the boss level in the alpha editor, and I think it turned out pretty well. Also a not so subtle ghost ship test by OL666 reference here. Water Spirit is a pretty cool boss, really not much to say about him though. Water Spirit is just kind of like an water engineer, or at least that was his old lore. Really happy with how this level turned out.
Anything else that inspired the design, or is it just something you kind of came up with at one point?
I just went, I want Water Spirit, and then I came up with Water Spirit, and I added their little cyber gadget eye thing later.
Okay. Pixel Perfect.
Oh yeah. Oh hell yeah. Hell yeah. Pixel Perfect is really cool. I will admit it's a shame that I couldn't really show off what happened before Pixel Perfect, since canonically there's supposed to be a golem infestation going on, which is why Pixar, the boss, kinda just destroys the golem in the build-up, in the column part before the build-up. Pixar speaks in not English, it's a language called Tokipona. I never really got into Tokipona, I just think it's a cool language, and went into a Tokipona server just so I could ask, hey, what would Pixar say, since I didn't know what he would say in Tokipona. So I just made him say something along the lines of, hey, Tiny Machine, you're bad. Go away, or else. Pixel Perfect is weird and that it can be really good at times and kinda mid in others, in my opinion.
Do you think its, like, unique style, I guess, helps benefit the level?
Nah, the most unique style Pixel Perfect has is that it's vaguely pixel themed. But yeah, it's just a really good level, I'd say.
Next up we got Lightyear.
Admittedly a bit lame. It looks really good, it plays really good, but I just wish I hadn't cut it short, just in time for my birthday. Yeah, and this is supposed to be a birthday level as well. Really not much to say about this other than it kind of establishes the relationship between Luminescence and Luminosity, a character you probably don't know. Luminosity is like Luminescence's worker because of lore and stuff. Luminosity has a bit of a complicated relationship with Luminescence because, well, they hate working for him. They have to admit that he's the only guy who is willing to actually give them a pay wage, whatever.
You can't find a job anywhere else. I understand that completely.
Yeah, and Luminescence is also kind of just a really cool guy. The character, not me. I am a stinker.
Luminescence is a really cool guy. He's like super cool and really strong, and like he gets all the Prism.
I hate Prism.
No, just straight
Next,
up hate
okay, no. Prism starts out really strong, but unfortunately just kind of falls off at the end. I'm planning to make a sequel to it that does it way more justice. The concept of evil being that traps people in virtual simulations.
I mean, this was the level where you animated a full run cycle.
Yeah, alright, yeah. This is where I animated the full run cycle. Don't know why, but yeah. Pretty cool stuff, I'd say.
It just felt right. It just felt right. No reason.
Yeah, I just wanted to tell that one cycle inspired me to try and tell a story in Prism, and that's what inspires me to tell a story in Prism sequel, which I hope to make eventually.
The old version of From Atoms to Pixels.
You know what? Let's skip this for when we get to the proper updated version.
Infinite Power.
Infinite Power is interesting in that I didn't make like half of it. Probably pretty usual for collabs. Man, yeah, it just... No offense to Potatoware and Devon, they did a really good job. But just something feels off to me about this.
Was it just your heart not being in your section, or just like...
Yeah, I just wasn't really in the song, I think.
Oddly enough, I think it would matter a lot more in terms of like a new creator just starting out if their heart wasn't really in it, but like, considering this is level 30, it's not really that big of a surprise that, like, you know, not every level is gonna be like 100% in it or whatever.
By the way, the boss you fight here, Virgil, is a really cool character. And I think I did a pretty good job in showing all of his emotions in, like, the dialogue section. He's a bit clumsy, but he wants to try and be a hero.
The lore that you've got cooking for Crystal Monarchy is developing quite swell.
Yeah, I'm planning to apply a little bit more lore in World 4, and then just a little bit interesting stuff in World 5, and then I just tear the bandage off.
Now the real story can start.
Yeah, that's pretty much Crystal Monarchy in a nutshell. It takes a good while and setting up its character, sprinkling in a little lore here and there, and then it just goes off on its own direction. I love it.
Yeah, next up we got Star Strike.
Star Strike by Hinkik. Again, nothing special. It's really just the golem level. Yeah, I don't have much to say about this, other than Queen's Guard looking ass. Technically called the Night Guard there, but Queen's Guard looking ass.
But next up we got Goldfinch.
Not gonna lie, I kind of popped off on the backgrounds there. Every background there syncs to the song in some way or another, and I really like it. It's so well done.
I like that bit where the character started flying and all of a sudden the background just took a completely different stylistic approach.
Yeah, I really like Axel's part, but the background needed a little bit more work with some clouds or something put in. That's something for future, I guess. But there's also more lore sprinkled in like 1 minute 40 into the level. We have like a big explosion and a mysterious map of the Monarchy, which isn't canon anymore since the Monarchy is very much traded places in unique ways, to say the least. Next up, Bittersweet Butterflies, best level I've ever made.
Just straight up, it's your best level?
Yeah, just straight up my best level. I really like Twist, I really like how I've handled the song usage, I really like a bit of everything. The outro may need a little bit more work, but yeah, I'm really happy with how it turned out.
Any other comments with it? Like, do you
the butterflies are pretty cool. No, I just think of it as my best level ever. Even though Starstorm is my favorite.
And out of curiosity, is this sort of the level where it seems like you're starting something new, like a sort of side story? Or anything like that?
Yeah, Bittersweet Butterflies mark the proper start of Everborn collection, which is like basically a retelling of Chime's Everborn story in Project Arrhythmia using the Everborn album.
That's pretty
cool.
It's
been in development for a while now, I'd say. It started work when the album first released, and it was like half a year ago. The next part is Intermolecular Lullaby, and that might be odd to those familiar with the album, but I have a good reason for that, and that is Everborn collection is intended to be all collabs, mostly. So yeah, there are bound to be levels out of order at the moment.
Entirely based on the person you collabed with speed. You're so fast you have the other people to slow you down.
I've slowed down significantly, so I wouldn't call it fair to accuse the other person of slowing me down.
So then after that we got From Atoms to Pixels.
No, I'm not done with Intermolecular Lullaby yet.
Oh, never mind. Okay.
I really like the lyrics. The lyrics are so cool. I'm really proud of the lyrics I made here. And finally, the last part, I'm planning to completely rework it sometime. I don't know, not sure. It just kind of feels a bit static in comparison to how grand it's supposed to feel, with like the galaxy in the background. Alright, we can move on to From Atoms to Pixels now.
How'd you feel about this level when you originally made it, and then now that you're currently like...
Really happy with it, but I recognize that there were some flaws with it, and I'm just really happy with it. Yes, that's really good. Really like the boss rush, even though I'm a bit conflicted about it, because on one hand, the boss rush is really cool, but on the other, did it really need a boss rush? Lyrics of the first drop, yeah, those are really cool. That's a really good rework right there.
Yeah,
really like how you can see the pixels actually fly by. And the part where the pixels actually fly and curve, yeah, that's really cool. Also, the glitchy part got completely reworked as well in the background, and I really dig it. It gives people epilepsy, but I don't care, it's really cool and fitting with the song.
Can you even say that your level is good if it doesn't give people a seizure?
I'm a bit mixed on Grain Zero, honestly.
Grain Zero is very easy to be spammed, but when you know how it works well.
Yeah. Crystalism by Chime is another Everborn solo. I really like the last drop, but it's not really anything special, and it's supposed to not be anything special. It's just an intermission level.
I think it looks pretty interesting regardless. I mean, it's fun to look at, certainly. I enjoy this.
Yeah, I'd say I did a pretty good job at duality between the perfect world of Everborn and the Mindburn monster inside Verb, the main character.
The more Luminescence lore to dump and consume.
Nah, it's less Luminescence lore and more Chime lore, I'd say.
I guess that brings us to your most recent level, Mega.
Mega by MDK, Morgan David Kidding, or whatever his full name is. Mega is really good. I really like how he handled Mega. Dugums also did really good. Really like his part, but probably biased since we're really good friends. But yeah, Mega is very good and a really good appetizer for what's to come in the takeover.
Takeover is the start of where TCM gets really interesting, since it breaks the expectations of Monarchs being one and done. Since Sir Flight makes a reappearance as a level, did use the same lightning effect over and over, but I put a ton of work into Cracked Masonry can be summarized as good, but obviously kind of rushed. Was inspired by the Trials series by DXL44. Mostly the way that those levels are intended to come out in pairs of 3. Wait is a level. Lion's Den, not anything noteworthy about either of them. Suppose Lion's Den is unique as you revealing the fake out end of the story. Be honest, Beyond Crescent is probs the only level I put any real effort in semi-consistently lol. Telia is the epilogue of the story, and contained a contextual plot twist, since the character you were playing as was a lot more familiar than you may have thought. Finally, find something different. It's a shame I couldn't finish it properly due to the composer's borderless Zionist statements making me uncomfortable, but what's out is still some of my best work yet, despite it being nearly a year old since I started it.
Alright, yeah, that's perfect. I'm glad you're feeling a lot, I guess, more awesome about your levels, because at any point did you ever go through, like, I guess, sort of a phase where you just weren't really happy with anything that you were making, or anything like that?
So many times, dude, you can't believe it. I vented so many times about how much I thought my levels were bad. Yeah, I hope to never do something like that again. It sucks.
Anything that you would change about the past, though, or, like, anything that you would try and improve?
Really, most I'm trying to improve on is as a person, which I used to be a bit aggressive, and I hope to mellow out a bit more, and I've already mellowed out quite a bit, I'd say.
What about, like, your levels? Anything you would, like, change about that? I mean, to be fair, you've already talked a bit about, like, things that you would probably do in, like, a remake, or, like, things you would change slightly, but...
For Halo, I probably made the camera effects less intense, and for From Adam's Pixels, I'd probably make the end part a little more intense. Really, and that's about it.
And then I also noticed, and this is something that you kind of talked about earlier, you have a lot of experience working with different creators. How does that, I guess, sort of change how you go about making the levels?
I'd say it's less experience with collabs and more experience with how the level combiner works. I really know how the level combiner works at this point, because I tend to split my levels in several parts at the time, because I hate lag.
Lag is evil, lag is bad.
Lag, pure evil. That's a Pony Island reference.
Speaking of Pony Island 2 coming out soon.
2025, 2026, 2024 is so good.
That specific year is going to be peak, okay.
Yeah, I really like how Daniel Mullins handled the release that year.
3 different years.
Yeah, it's very funny and really cool.
And then overall, in your experience of, like, learning the editor and, like, slowly improving as a creator, what do you think helped you a lot in terms of, I guess, overcoming the learning curve and improving as an artist?
Really just getting inspired by others, I'd say. Not letting the inspiration get to me, just copying, and really just, it's just inspiration. Yeah. Really, that's it. I love inspiration. It's so cool what you can do with just a little bit of inspiration.
Any other tips you got for aspiring creators?
No matter how bad you think your levels are, go ahead and make levels anyway. It's really surprising how you tend to think your levels are really bad, but to others, they might be still really good. I can't really articulate my thoughts on it, but just keep making levels. That's really it.
Okay. Alright, yeah, I think that's about everything that I had. I'll go ahead and let you go now. Anything else? Any other funny meme you'd like to leave off with?
Yippee poo poo watermelon.
I'm tired of interviewing Gen Z creators. This better be the last time.